A massive shift is coming. Nearly 4 million households across the United Kingdom could soon see a vital income boost of £725 a year thanks to a sweeping welfare reform bill currently moving through Parliament. But not everything is good news. While ministers at the Department for Work and Pensions, the DWP, are championing the change as bold and forward-thinking, others say the very same bill could push thousands more disabled people deeper into poverty. So what's really going on behind the scenes of this so-called reform? What will it mean for you, your family, and millions of claimants already struggling to make ends meet in today's cost of living crisis? Let's take a closer look at this historic development and what it could mean for the future of universal credit, health-related benefits, and the support system many depend on to survive. According to official figures and analysis by the Daily Record, the Universal Credit Bill now advancing through Parliament promises a change that could see the standard allowance permanently increase above inflation. Officials estimate this rise would amount to £725 by the year 2029-30 for a single adult aged 25 or over. On paper, this marks a dramatic shift in the welfare system. The Institute for Fiscal Studies describes it as the most significant permanent real terms rise to the main rate of out-of-work support since 1980. That's over 4 decades. For millions, this could feel like a long overdue correction, a government finally acknowledging the growing burden of inflation and the crippling effects of low-income support. The DWP claims it is rebalancing universal credit by raising the standard element while reducing the health top-up for new claims. But here's where things get controversial. Starting April 2026, new claimants will only receive a reduced health supplement, just £50 per week. Existing recipients will continue to receive the higher rate, including those with severe conditions criteria or those assessed under the special rules for end of life, also known as SREL. It's a change the government says will fix what they call a perverse incentive in the current system, one that allegedly traps people into dependency by rewarding ill health over work readiness. Work and Pensions Secretary Liz Kendall says the reforms are based on fairness, giving people the opportunity to work without fear of losing support. In her words, "We are giving extra support to millions of households across the country, while offering disabled people the chance to work without fear of the repercussions if things don't work out." And with that announcement, a new right to try guarantee has been introduced, aimed at individuals with a disability or health condition who want to attempt work without being forced into another grueling reassessment. But critics say these moves are not based on fairness. They say it's a betrayal. A dangerous gamble with the lives of some of the UK's most vulnerable people. Charities, disability campaigners, and many MPs are sounding the alarm bells. They say that behind the headlines of boosted income and freedom to work lies a new two-tier benefit system, one that rewards earlier claimants while punishing those who become ill later. Thomas Lawson, CEO of Turn to Us, has been one of the most vocal critics. He warns that this bill will actually slash support for people unable to work by over £200 a month. That's not a pay rise. That's a pay cut. And it's a cut that will be felt most painfully by those who need support the most. Halving the health element of universal credit for anyone who becomes sick from April 2026 will increase hardship and mean even more people are going without essentials, Lawson said. He's calling for a full review of the benefits system, one that actually listens to disabled people and the organizations that support them. In a country as wealthy as ours, he added, sickness should never mean hunger or eviction. And he's not alone. James Watson O'Neill, chief executive of the national disability charity Sense, said that the government's decision to push through this reform has sparked deep fear and distress among young disabled people with the most complex needs and their families. Just last week, the government made headlines for backing away from planned cuts to Personal Independence Payment (PIP). That decision offered hope. But now, MPs have voted through a bill that still cuts £47 a week from new disabled claimants after 2026. Let that sink in. That's almost £200 a month lost for having the misfortune of needing help at the wrong time. Campaigners argue this creates a cruel divide. Two people with the same health condition, the same struggles, the same barriers to work treated entirely differently. One gets the full support, the other gets a smaller payment purely based on when they applied. Almost half of disabled people with complex needs are already in debt, Sense reports. Their benefit payments don't cover the essentials as it is. And as we've seen time and time again, falling behind on bills leads to a spiral of rent arrears, missed meals, and worsening health. Juliet Tizard, Director of External Relations at Parkinson's UK, raised a vital point about fluctuating conditions like Parkinson's. The bill now defines eligibility for the higher health element as requiring constant inability to perform certain tasks. But Parkinson's isn't constant. Its symptoms come and go, making people appear capable one day and debilitated the next. Tizard says this will penalize many people who live with unpredictable health challenges. Until they get clarity that those with conditions like Parkinson's won't be punished under the new system, they'll keep campaigning to stop the changes. So where does the government stand on all of this? The Department for Work and Pensions insists this is about fairness, dignity, and long-term reform. They say the changes will ensure that the system is there to support the most vulnerable while also encouraging people back into work. They point to a £3.8 billion investment over this Parliament, promising tailored employment, health, and skills support as part of the Pathways to Work guarantee. They highlight programs like Connect to Work, which offer one-to-one guidance for those with health conditions, and they're doubling down on the claim that no one with a terminal illness or lifelong severe condition will lose support. They also promise a permanent inflation-proof uplift in the universal credit health element for those who do qualify. But critics ask, what about those who don't? What happens to the people whose conditions are invisible, fluctuating, or hard to define? What about the claimants who deteriorate slowly or don't tick every box of the new eligibility form? Will they fall through the cracks? This is why the proposed reforms remain so divisive. On one hand, the government is promising the biggest real terms increase to the standard universal credit allowance in over 40 years. On the other, it's slicing away at vital support for those who rely on the health component of the benefit to stay afloat. The bill has now passed through the House of Commons, with 336 MPs voting in favour and 242 against. It now moves to the House of Lords for further scrutiny. Many are watching closely. Campaigners, families, charities all holding on to hope that amendments might still be made before the bill receives royal assent and becomes law. Until then, the debate continues. A battle between balancing budgets and protecting the most vulnerable. Between statistical savings and human lives. The truth is, these reforms are not just about numbers. They're about real people. People whose ability to live, work, and thrive may now depend on whether Parliament gets this bill right or wrong. In the coming months, we will see more consultations, more headlines, and likely more protests. But for now, nearly 4 million households wait, wondering whether their support will go up or disappear. We'll continue to bring you every update as this legislation progresses. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any breaking developments from the DWP, Parliament.